Hello. Okay, hello and welcome back. Class number 4 of Native Food for Life online. How did y'all do last week? The challenge was eating more potatoes. Were y'all able to get potatoes into your diet? Um, if you did, type in the chat what you had. If you had any challenges, type in your challenges. We'll help you overcome. But I use the food pantries, and I usually go towards later of the evening. And if you do that, they are looking at the stuff they have to throw away. And so I have 3 bags of sweet potatoes from the food pantry that we had to use. And so we did the sweet potato fries. We had sweet potatoes for Thanksgiving, and then I made sweet potatoes just boiled so we could eat them. They're in the fridge, just ready to eat for snack. So we're really just trying to get more sweet potatoes. And if you um, filled out the survey, make sure you put my name, Darylyn. Even if you misspell it, they know it's me. I'm actually the only one doing Native Food for Life classes this time of the year. So, but just try to put my name if you would. Thank you so much. It helps us, keep it going and get the feedback that we need. Okay. All right. Now, today's session includes a cooking competition that was filmed at the Kinlani Border Town Dormitory in Flagstaff, Arizona. And it features students and teachers, and all the recipes are in the handout. So if you're looking at this competition and you want to make that, look in your handout for the recipes. And in the handout, there's a lot of other great information too. There's going to be a new way how to cook brown rice. If you've ever had a sticky rice pan or a mess, or you cooked and you burnt it, or it just wasn't done, this way is called the pasta method. And you just fill the pot up with water and you boil it like you would pasta. Once the rice is done, you strain off the water and you have perfect rice every time and a clean pan. And so that's one way to get brown rice in and not have to worry about cooking times and how it sticks all the time. That's the troubles I had when I was trying to do brown rice. Another thing you can do with brown rice is you toast it in a dry pan for a little bit till it starts to get a little bit brown, and then cook it, and it gives it like a nutty, a little bit more, appealing taste. So that's a good way to put brown rice into your diet. And new ways to make popcorn. And then on the last page, make sure that if you have not filled out the survey, just to fill out the survey at our medium point of the week. All right. Any questions? Oh, they had regular potatoes. So regular potatoes are good too. We had plenty of regular potatoes. I was gonna cheat and do the instant mashed potatoes because the Red Mill brand at like the wholesome section of the store, those they're really good. They're the best instant potatoes I had, and they're like better than real potatoes. But we did real potatoes because I had the potatoes from those potatoes too. And oh, okay. So in the chat, it looks like they did like a veggie bowl. Uh, I was introduced to like a veggie bowl this weekend. We went to Ann Arbor and we went to Legoland, and down there at that mall they have a place called the Hummus and Pita Company. And so when you get the bowl, they put you a big scoop of hummus, and they had vegan shawarma, which was like a meat texturized soy protein, and then these grilled vegetables on them. You could get the seasoned cauliflower, and then a cucumber and tomato salad on top, and then and then more. And then there's cilantro jalapeno dressing. I shouldn't have got so much. It was so hot, it burnt me up, but it was so good. So that's a good way to get all those in one area, is put it all in a bowl. So that's great. They had sweet potatoes. That tzatziki sauce is kind of like a cucumber sauce that they use at the like in the Indian cuisine. So that's really good, kind of like a ranch, but it's cucumbers and cashew cream. Okay. All right. Well, we can turn it over now to a registered dietitian, Whitney Brooks, and she'll introduce today's lesson. Okay, so here we go.
Welcome to Lesson 4 of Native Food for Life. Today we're going to meet the power plate. For those of you just joining us today, I'm registered dietitian nutritionist Whitney Brooks, a member of the Seneca Nation and your host for today's class. Today, we will learn about the 4 food groups. Everything else is optional and mostly unnecessary. We'll also talk about how profits and politics influence what the US government recommends that Americans eat. Then, we'll go over the history of the Dîner Power Plate and how this information is useful for everyone. And then, we will watch Food is Medicine, the game show, to see which chef makes the winning dish and provide you with their recipes. So during this game show, you're going to hear many great ideas for meals that you can make at home, so you may want to be ready to take some notes. Before we go on, I want to talk about taking caution with medications. Just as a quick reminder, if you've been doing the weekly challenges and eating more plants and less animals and animal products, and you take medication that can lower your blood sugar or blood pressure, please be careful. These medications become too strong with a diet change. Check in with your healthcare provider if you are not feeling well or see your blood sugar or blood pressure are too low. I want everyone in this program to be successful and safe. So here it is, the Native Power Plate. The Native Power Plate is a diagram that was designed to illustrate 4 healthy food groups. Today, you will hear a lot about fruits, grains, beans, and vegetables. It's called the power plate because these foods provide the power to live, to grow, to get healthy, and to stay healthy. The blue around the outside represents water, which of course is the best thing to drink at meals and throughout the day. Remember, water is life. Let's go over some nutrition basics. For anyone who wants to turn around diabetes, high blood pressure, constipation, or other chronic medical conditions, or even prevent them in the first place, here are the basics of power plate eating. The first point is to eat whole plant foods. By whole, we mean that the food is in the least processed state possible. So for example, when choosing oatmeal, we're going to choose rolled oats or steel cut oats over the instant oatmeal, which is more processed. Another example is choosing a whole apple with the skin on versus applesauce, or even worse, apple juice, which is highly processed. Number 2 is to avoid animal products. So meat and dairy are not needed for health, and these things can cause or sustain medical problems. Most of the animals eaten in the United States come from factory farms. These commercial meats contain hormones and antibiotics used to quickly fatten up the animals and keep them well in the crowded, unnatural conditions that they live in. Milk and milk products, such as cheese, are also animal products that are best to avoid. The next point on our nutrition basics is number 3, minimize oils. This means lard, butter, or any other type of pure fat. Vegetable oil is a highly processed food. And remember, we don't find oil growing on trees. 1 tablespoon of oil has 13 grams of fat. So you can see how easy it is to eat way too much fat if oil is going into your foods. We want to aim to get less than 30 grams of fat each day. Our last point for our nutrition basics is number 4, take vitamin B12. This is the one vitamin that is recommended to be supplemented when you're eating on the power plate. We'll talk about this more later on. Now that we've covered our nutrition basics, now we can focus on what's actually on the power plate, starting with fruits, which are really fantastic. So this group is delicious and packed with lots of nutrients. So these are actually really healthy. So let's look at some myths and facts about fruit. So myth number 1, sugar in fruit is bad for you. The fact is, fruits are superfoods. The sugar in fruit isn't just poured in there or added. It's also packaged with fiber, minerals, potassium, vitamin C, and protective phytochemicals and antioxidants. All of these things help protect and repair your cells and multiple studies have shown no effect or a beneficial effect on blood sugar levels and overall health. One of my favorite examples of super healthy fruit are blueberries and other blue and purple berries. These types of berries contain anthocyanins, and these compounds promote brain health. So, myth number 2, I have diabetes, so I can't have fruit. So the fact is, fruit is good for everyone, even people with diabetes. For example, a study of 500,000 people in China found that those who ate fresh fruit daily were 12% less likely to get type 2 diabetes than those who never or rarely ate it. It was also found that people with diabetes at the start of the study who ate fruit regularly were slightly less likely to die or to get complications of diabetes, such as eye problems like diabetic retinopathy, during the study compared to those who ate fruit rarely or never. People with diabetes who ate fresh fruit daily also are less likely to have a heart attack or stroke and are less likely to have eye or kidney disease than those who ate fresh fruit never or rarely. What is it about fruit that makes it so good for us? The answer is synergy. The fiber, vitamins, minerals, and phytochemicals in fruit work together to have antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer, and anti-hypertensive effects, as well as promoting healthy cholesterol and blood sugar levels. Fruit also appear to feed our good gut bacteria. So at the end of the day, let's eat fruit. So many fruits are just wash and eat, and that makes them the ultimate fast food. So the wash and eat types: bananas, blueberries, grapes, raspberries, strawberries, pears and apples, peaches, and plums. Other fruits may require just a few minutes of preparation. These include melons, kiwis, mangoes, pineapple, orange and citrus, kiwis, and pomegranates. So if you have diabetes, lower sugar fruits like berries are a bit better, but all of these are fine for most people. Here's an idea. You can have a fruit as a snack or dessert after a meal. You can even add them to your oatmeal. Additionally, you can put berries, apples, pears, or grapes in your salads. Another great thing I like to do is to eat fruit after a workout to help with recovery. Next up are whole grains. Grains are another seriously misunderstood food group. Yet, grains, especially whole grains, form the basis of the diet of the healthiest cultures in the world. Let's investigate why grains belong on the native power plate. While corn is often thought of as a vegetable, it is really a grain. According to Chef Lois Ellen Frank, corn has many layers of meaning to indigenous peoples throughout the Americas. Corn is considered by many to be the essence of life. It is one of the most important ingredients in native cuisine, native art, science, literature, and ceremonies. When we see how many varieties of corn there are all around the Americas, it's easy to see just how important this staple crop is. When it comes to whole grains, we have so many options. Our whole grains include corn, which does include popcorn, oats, brown rice, quinoa, buckwheat, amaranth, sorghum, and millet. All of these are actually gluten-free grains also. Additionally, we also have wheat, which includes cracked wheat, wheat berries, durum, bulgur, spelt, kamut, and farro. We also have barley and rye. These grains do contain gluten. So, how many of these whole grains have you tried? While corn and rice are nice, explore some new grains this week. Quinoa and barley are two that are easy for most people to find in grocery stores. Good to know is that flour from whole grains, such as whole wheat flour, is okay too, But remember, the closer something is to the way it grew from the earth, the better it is for our gut. So, what's a whole grain? The Whole Grain Council gave us this nice little picture to show us what makes up a whole grain. So, a whole grain, such as whole wheat, is made of 3 different layers. The first layer is the outer layer called the bran. The bran is the multi-layered outer skin of the edible kernel. This layer contains antioxidants, B vitamins, and fiber. The next part is the germ. The germ of the whole grain is the embryo, which is the part of the grain that sprouts into a new plant. This part contains B vitamins, protein, minerals, and healthy fats. The biggest part of a whole grain typically is called the endosperm. The endosperm is the baby plant's food supply, which provides essential energy. This part contains starchy carbohydrates, proteins, and small amounts of vitamins and minerals. When we make things out of processed grain, like this very boring looking white bread in the bottom corner, we are removing part of the whole grain, usually the bran. If you notice, we want to aim for something that's made out of whole grains, like this whole wheat bread in the upper right-hand corner. Notice the deeper color. That means it has more of the grain intact. So, what can whole grains do for you and your family? Well, in spite of what people who were misled by the book Wheat Belly, actual science has shown that whole grains are good for health. Grains such as corn are filling. In actual research studies, whole grains lower the risk of our most common diseases. It has been shown that regular consumption of whole grains reduces our risk of stroke, type 2 diabetes, and heart disease. They also reduce our risk of colon cancer and high blood pressure. Additionally, consuming whole grains can help with high cholesterol. Let's check out this handout together. In the first column is a list of many different types of grains. In the second column is the grain to water ratio. So that just means how much water you're going to cook the grains with to 1 cup of that grain. So, for example, if we have 1 cup of Araminth, it's the first one, we will need 2.5 cups of water. And we will need to cook that in a pot on the stove for 20 to 25 minutes covered. And in the last column, it shows the yield. So doing this will provide 2.5 cups of cooked Araminth. If you've never tried this grain, look for it at Walmart or any other store with a large selection of grains. Use this list as a guide to try out new grains. Popcorn is a great whole grain snack. It's also really easy to make on your own without the extra oil. There's so many different varieties of popcorn kernels to try. If you've ever seen the inside of a really good seed catalog, you'll see several different varieties of corn that was intended to be popped. So check those out, and sometimes you may even see some of these varieties making their way into the grocery stores, where you can buy whole kernels there. So check out this video I made where I make popcorn without the oil. Welcome back to this week's food demonstration. Today we're going to make some air-popped popcorn. So why not use regular microwave popcorn? Well, for one, by itself, popcorn is a nutritious whole grain. There's a lot of really great benefits, but if you notice, here I've cut open a name brand microwave popcorn, but if you notice, the kernels are covered. They're totally caked in a solid fat. So this adds a lot of excess fat and calories to our popcorn that we don't want. So in order to avoid excess and unnecessary fat calories with our popcorn snack, I'm going to show you a really quick, easy recipe. It makes a cheesy, and I say cheesy because it doesn't actually have any cheese in it, spicy popcorn. Let's get started. All right, so I made air pop popcorn two different ways. The first way was with this standard handy dandy air popper, very convenient. It is a little bit of an investment though. But today I also made air popped popcorn in a regular paper bag in my microwave. So it's still very convenient. So all I did to make this is I put a quarter cup, just a quarter cup scoop of popcorn kernels in this paper bag, and then I folded it down 3 times to trap it in, make sure nothing popped out. And then I laid it on its side inside my microwave. And I set it for about 4 minutes, but you don't need all 4 minutes. So I set it, and all I have to do is listen for the popping. And I know to pull it out when the pops are about 2 seconds apart. That's to make sure it doesn't burn. So I made a nice full bag here, this without any added fat or oil, which is great. So for our recipe, to give this popcorn a little extra flavor without the excess calories, I'm going to show you. So I said spicy, but this is my favorite hot sauce, Frank's hot sauce. You can use sriracha. It's more of a smoother paste, or whatever your favorite brand of hot sauce is. This is just mine. So all I'm going to do is take my bowl here, and then I'm going to coat the sides of the bowl with hot sauce. So it's going to end up being about 2 tablespoons. I don't even need that much, just enough to coat the sides of the bowl. And this hot sauce does have a little bit of salt in there, so I don't need to actually add any to this popcorn. So now that the sides of my bowl are nice and coated with this hot sauce, this is going to take my little scraper here and kind of spread it around a little bit. This is just so that we can evenly coat our kernels as best as we can. And now that that's all set, I'm going to introduce a new ingredient. We may not know about nutritional yeast, but you can get nutritional yeast at most grocery stores, or you can order it online. There are different brands. Mine comes in just this little spice-sized jar or container. Some are fortified with vitamin B12, but you've got to check the label because some may not have as much as others. But it is a nice nutritional punch when it's fortified properly. So nutritional yeast is great. It's a small investment, but it does last a long time. So right here, I've got about 3 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, and I'm going to sprinkle that around my bowl. I'm going to sprinkle that, kind of mix it with the hot sauce. So this is going to help coat the popcorn and mix the nutritional yeast together. So I have my air pop popcorn here that I can add. And then I also I'm going to add in a little bit of my bag. As you can see, the stuff that was popped in the bag turned out really great, and it looks just the same. So now I can get my scraper, and now I'm just going to gently toss this around the bowl. I'm going to be careful not to crush it. And then I'm just going to incorporate this until everything's kind of nicely coated. And I can always add more hot sauce or nutritional yeast if I think it needs a little more. So there you have it. Nice, slightly spicy, cheesy, not actually salty snack. All right. Hope you guys like this one. The next group on our native power plate are vegetables. Vegetables are so important. Vegetables are really important because they decrease our chronic disease risk. This group also contains a lot of potassium, especially our dark leafy greens like kale and collards. The folate in vegetables actually provides the foundation for a hormone called serotonin, which is really great for our mood. Vegetables also help you stay regular and feel full after meals. Vegetables can also keep your eyes healthy and improve bone density. They really are awesome. It is really important to vary your veggies. We want to aim to eat all the colors of the rainbow. Veggies are also good for us when they're raw or cooked. Another great goal is to include them at every meal. Ways to do this include stirring baby spinach into soups or bake into pasta dishes like this vegetable lasagna that Chef Lois Ellen Frank has. We can also start our meals with a salad. We can have a green smoothie at breakfast, or we can try steamed greens on toast or in savory oatmeal. Another great idea is to snack on veggies while you're cooking. Another thing we can do is cut up veggies for our kids when we're cooking too. And now finally, our last but very important group, beans. This group packs a powerful combo of protein and fiber, as well as other nutrients. This is really one of my favorite groups because it makes me feel very full and satisfied after meals. Also, the fiber that's in beans is also really good for our gut flora. Here's some nice ideas for enjoying beans. You can enjoy beans in a hearty chili. You can enjoy them in a tasty taco, burrito, or enchilada filling. You can make veggie burgers out of them. They're also a great salad topper. Beans can also be whipped up into a chip dip or a sandwich spread. My favorite are the black bean brownies. Those are amazing. Some of us might be worried that beans don't like us very much. But if you think this is you, here's 4 easy tips to help ease any possible discomfort that you might have. First is ease into it. You can start with a small serving, like a half cup of beans at a time. If you're cooking dry beans, soak them overnight. Drain the soaking water and rinse the beans really well, and that should get rid of the majority of the gas-forming compounds, if they even bother you. And then you can cook the rinsed beans in fresh water until soft. Another great tip is to rinse canned beans really well. This also removes a lot of the excess salt if the beans were canned in salt. And remember, don't give up. Sometimes your body just takes time to adjust. You heard about cooking beans in lesson 2, but I think this is a good review just in case you haven't tried cooking beans from scratch yet. Here are 4 easy steps to cook dry beans. First, sort through the beans to make sure there are no pebbles mixed in. Do this by dumping them 1 to 2 handfuls at a time onto a plate or a paper towel. You can pick out and throw away the little pebbles. Nobody wants to eat those. And then you can place your sorted beans into a pot. Repeat this until all the beans are sorted and in the pot. Second, rinse the beans with clean water. Third, cover the beans with water. Use about 3 times as much water as beans in your pot. Fourth, you can drain off the soak water. You can use this water to water plants so it doesn't go to waste. And then you're going to add fresh water, about twice as much water as beans. Then you're going to bring to a boil for 10 minutes, then reduce the heat and simmer uncovered for the amount of time listed on your handout. Some varieties like lentils will take less time. So how much do we eat anyways? We've talked a lot about what to eat, but how much should you eat to make sure you're getting enough? It's easy. Aim for at least 3 servings from each of the 4 food groups each day. That means 3 fruits, 3 vegetables, 3 servings of grains, and 3 servings of beans. For example, a serving of beans is 1/2 a cup of whole beans. So, total, try for 1 1/2 cups of beans every day. Also, kids should also eat the 3 + 3 + 3 + 3 way every day, but their serving sizes will be smaller based on their age. Nuts and seeds are not on the power plate, but they are very healthy in small amounts. Remember, nuts come in shells for a reason. So we want to aim for 1 serving of nuts a day. 1 serving equals 1 small handful of nuts or 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed or whole chia seed or peanut butter. Flaxseed, chia seed, and walnuts are rich in omega-3 fats. Try to eat these ones more often. Let's talk about vitamin B12. Vitamin B12, which is produced by bacteria and other one-celled organisms in the small intestines of animals, is made by humans, although it is not well absorbed and retained. Some animals do absorb it though, and traces end up in their flesh. So, B12 supplement is required on a plant-based diet when we are avoiding eating animal flesh. Vitamin B12 is also recommended for everyone aged 50 and up, or if you're on certain medications like acid blockers or metformin. Vitamin B12 is important for nerve health, blood health, and memory. But how much should you take? The recommended daily allowance, or RDA, is tiny, only 2.4 micrograms per day. However, because it might not all be absorbed and a larger amount is not harmful, it is hard to find small doses, such as 50 micrograms per day. One option is to take a 500 microgram capsule a couple days a week. We're going to aim to supplement 50 micrograms per day or whatever your healthcare provider says. So get yourself a bottle of vitamin B12 today. Now, what should I drink? Well, what did our ancestors drink? They drank water. So when you're eating this way, make sure to drink plenty of fresh, clean water. Drinking water can help prevent tooth decay, obesity, trouble sleeping, and other problems. Tea is also good, but go easy when you're sweetening. Black, green, or herbal teas are great. Coffee is okay too, unless you have trouble sleeping. Just use non-dairy creamer and go easy on that refined sugar. Try your best to avoid sodas, energy drinks, and other sweetened drinks. Next up, let's consider how these nutritious foods can come together into some great meals. Today's feature is a fun 12-minute video created by students and faculty at Kinlani Bordertown Dormitory in Flagstaff, Arizona. A special thank you to their teacher, Oakley Anderson Moore. This video introduces the Native Power Plate and takes us into a meal-making competition, complete with a trip to the grocery store. Let's check it out.
Then we add sugar to our meat to give it the signature flavor you've come to love.
Side effects may include constipation, fatigue, obesity, and diabetes.
The delicious muck into casing. You can fry up any of our meat products with your family every night.
All you have to do is take 1 pill every day for the rest of your life.
Hi, welcome to our show. My name's Kai Begay.
I'm Kendra.
Sick and tired of feeling sick and tired of our modern cuisine?
So are we. Today we're focusing on food that you need to survive and thrive for.
Food that nourishes and heals you, and most of all, puts your family first.
We're fighting diabetes with native plant-based food.
Without breaking the bank.
Today's challenge, we're going to be making a delicious meal under $10. using the native power plate.
Question: what is the native power plate?
We're glad you asked, Judge number 3. The native power plate is the pattern of eating unlimited foods of 4 food groups: whole grains, vegetables, beans, and fruits. Scientific studies have shown that eating these 4 food groups can turn around A1C levels and reverse diabetes. Returning to ancestral plant-based food is how we can reclaim our health.
Now let me our competitors. Competitor number 1.
My name's Rochelle, and as a chef, I like to personally cook with corn because, one, it's one of my favorite native foods out there, and because it's also very healthy.
Contestant 2.
Hi, my name is Janica, and as a chef, I specialize in making food with beans. Beans are high in protein and fiber. They can help prevent diabetes by stabilizing blood glucose.
And last and finally, contestant number 3.
My name is Ajoni, and as a chef, I like to work with all sorts of colors, just like a rainbow. For me, working with colors is the best thing, and having more colors is it's like being fun. It brings out my inner child. The health aspect of using more of a variety of colors, it's like the more colors, the more minerals you get, or more vitamins you get. These are all natural colors. They're not dyed into what they're supposed to be. It's just all natural, and they're really good for you. Being colorful is what I live for.
Now it's time to meet our judges.
I'm a mom with a big family. I need to feed a lot of hungry people on a budget.
I'm a busy person. I work all day. I don't have time to cook all night, so I need to whip something up fast. I'm hungry.
Okay.
I'm really hungry. Whatever they make better be filling. Like I always say, where's the meat?
Today's challenge is about plant-based foods.
So that means plant and meat?
No, just plants.
So plant and then meat?
No, plants from start to finish. As it turns out, you can get everything you need just from plants.
And off. Contestant number 2 is going out the bulk aisle.
The bulk goods aisle is my secret recipe on how I cook so healthy on a tight budget. Beans, cashews, walnuts, almonds, quinoa, raisins, oatmeal. Simple, healthy, and cheap. It might take longer to cook my dry beans, but I am getting so much bang for my buck.
Contestant number 3 is in the fresh produce aisle.
Look at all the colors.
Contestant number 3 is shopping in the frozen food section.
In the refrigerator aisle is where I substitute a lot of things for meat and dairy. See, non-dairy milk, non-dairy butter. Same great taste, but without all the cholesterol and fat. Sometimes I'll even use the alternative meats, but to be honest, they're a bit pricey and not as healthy as I like them to be. But I usually go for one main thing, which is really good, which is tofu.
What is tofu anyway?
You don't know what tofu is? Oh, it's just beans. Soybeans.
And contestant number 1 is stopping at the canned good aisles.
I love fresh fruits and vegetables, but I don't have the time to be chopping and peeling and cutting it.
And I hate it most of all is when it goes bad and it's not fresh anymore. So sometimes I get canned food or frozen food, but even so I have to be careful because I don't want mixed weird junk in it, and that will not make the food go good and not as healthy as I want it to be.
Now contestant number 1 is going to the frozen food section. Ooh, cold.
Frozen spinach, frozen green beans, even frozen fruit. It's nature's candy. I love it fresh, but I'm on a budget and it's a lot cheaper frozen.
Thank you for shopping with us here at National Grocery. Looks like contestant number 2 is checking out. $7.50. How about that?
And here's contestant number 3. She's weighing around, wow, $5.25.
I don't believe it. Contestant number 1 is ringing out at $3.50.
Wheat flour, sea salt, vegetable powders, onion, garlic. These noodles are low fat. They're made without egg and oil. Any type of rice noodle or healthy noodles are okay. This is vegetable broth. This is what I'll use if the seasoning packet is not healthy because it has like a lot of salt and other stuff. So this is what I'll use. Let me just let that heat up. Chilies have 5 times more vitamin C than 1 orange. So you can eat 5 oranges compared to just eating 1 melon.
Today, I'm using black beans, which are in this measuring cup, as you see. What I have in my hand is a quinoa plant. It is high in protein and also has 9 amino acids. It's done. So these are cashews that I have soaked overnight, and you can do it for 2 hours if you are in a hurry, but soaking them overnight is way better. Creamy.
I like to cook with blue corn because blue corn has 20% more protein than white corn. The reason why I cook with juniper ash, a gram of ashes actually has more calcium than a glass of milk. The ash also helps release more nutrients from the blue corn and helps it contain its blue color. Yeah.
Chef, what do you have for us today?
I made green chili rainiers, a side of salad, and blue corn mush with blueberries.
This takes less than $4 to make. I'm in.
Chef, what are you serving?
I've made a quick vegetable ramen with low-fat noodles, tofu, and fresh vegetables. Enjoy!
You're telling me this only took 5 minutes to make? I'm in.
Chef, what have you cooked for us today?
Today I made a Mother Earth bowl, which is powered by my favorite ingredient, beans.
Judges?
Sorry, I like to take good naps after a good meal because it was like really good. Now maybe I should ask, where's the beans?
Judges, do you have a verdict? And the results are in. It's a 3-way tie.
Everybody wins with these healthy plant-based meals. Are you ready to try?
Thank you for watching Food is Medicine, the game show. These students and faculty at Kinlani Bordertown Dorm showed it is possible to make food that tastes great without spending a lot of money or time. Please take a look at the recipes, which can help you with today's challenge of the week. So here's a question for you. Why is it that until now, you've never been taught that plants can provide complete nutrition for human beings? Or that plants can prevent and often reverse many chronic diseases? Let's take a look at the U.S. food guides over the years. Starting back in the year 1916, the U.S. government began to offer advice on what to eat. In the 1940s, there were 7 food groups. One was margarine. Perhaps some people watching this learned about the food pyramid, created in 1992. The pyramid was designed so that the bottom was what you were supposed to eat most of, with grains, then fruits and vegetables on the bottom 2 rows. Then meat and dairy were above that, and oils were at the very top, and baked goods with fats and sugar were at the very top. The food pyramid was taught in schools, and it was printed on cereal boxes. The pyramid idea was scrapped in favor of a plate in 2011. This was an important development in the history of food diagrams. So, in 2005, the USDA created My Pyramid. This was a design filled with problems. Just by looking at it, you can see that it tells us nothing about what to eat. On a positive note, they did add a little figure to encourage exercise. But the public hated My Pyramid. Then, in 2011, the USDA replaced My Pyramid with My Plate. It shows 5 food groups: fruits, grains, vegetables, and protein. Fruits, vegetables, and grains are all good, but what is a protein? Protein is not a food. People don't raise protein or shop for protein. And protein is in grains and vegetables. If you read the text that goes along with My Plate, it says, protein includes meats and beans, but really it is in everything, and Americans don't suffer from protein deficiency. Also, they added this circle on the upper right-hand side that hangs on the outside, known as dairy. As we know from Native American ancestors, humans have no need for cow's milk. Humans survive without milk or dairy products throughout most of history. Something happened between 2005, when My Pyramid was released, and 2011, when My Plate was created by the USDA. In 2009, the Physicians Committee created a plant-based food diagram called the Power Plate. It was simple, powerful, based on the best available evidence. It was clear and easy to understand. The USDA building is actually not far from the Physicians Committee's office in Washington, D.C., and the Physicians Committee shared their design. In 2011, the USDA came up with this, My Plate. We're not saying they copied, but look how similar they are. It's really good to know that the central mission of the United States Department of Agriculture, or USDA, is to support farmers. Over the years, their primary mission has become to support big agribusinesses. The mission of the USDA is not health. At present, the USDA buys up surplus milk and cheese and forces schools that participate in the federal lunch program to take it to serve to children. We should be very cautious about nutrition advice from the USDA. In more recent years, the USDA has partnered with Health and Human Services to create nutrition advice, such as the MyPlate design. However, this is still flawed, as some within the Health and Human Services Department receive funding from industry, specifically from the meat and dairy industries. Meanwhile, on the Navajo Nation, interest was sprouting within the Special Diabetes Program about how to best teach people what to eat. Tuba City Supervisor Edbert Little explains the difference between the Power Plate and the USDA MyPlate. Here he is shown at a Special Diabetes Nutrition Conference in Chinle, Arizona in August 2012. Mr. Little had adopted a plant-based diet and found that he quickly lost 10 pounds. Navajo Nation Special Diabetes Program nutritionists found non-dairy almond and soy milks at Bosch's, along with cow's milk. On February 27, 2015, the Navajo Nation nutritionists began meeting to design their own food diagram, which they named the Dene Power Plate. They chose 4 food groups: fruits, vegetables, grains, and the bean family. They chose to use photos of real foods and added a circle of blue around the plate representing water. The Dene Power Plate includes representations of the 4 colors and directions. North is black, representing the bean family. East is white for the grains. South is blue for the vegetables, and west is red for the fruit. They wrote that the Dene Power Plate continues the teachings in prevention of diabetes, focusing on filling your plate with traditional Dene native plant foods to help you live longer, stay slimmer, and reduce your risk of heart disease, diabetes, and complications of diabetes. They were invited to present the Dene Power Plate at the Navajo Nation Research Conference. Then Vice President Jonathan Nez attended the Navajo Nation Research Conference and spoke with the NNSDP nutritionists. And 1 month later, Navajo Nation President Russell Begay released this proclamation in honor of National Diabetes Awareness Month. In it, President Begay said that the Dene people have been hard hit by diabetes. To combat it, they should get more physical activity and eat more plant-based meals. The current president of the Navajo Nation, President Nez, has adopted a plant-based diet himself several years ago. He has said that it has improved his running time and he has found he recovers faster after a race. In this picture, taken when he was still the vice president, he is speaking at a health fair at the Canoncito Health Center in Tohajali, New Mexico. Sitting beside him is a famous ultra-marathon runner, Scott Jurek, who has competed and won endurance races for many years on a 100% plant-based diet. Let me introduce you to Mrs. Barney, who has allowed me to tell her story. She is Dene and has been a nutrition educator for many years. When she was diagnosed with diabetes, she was embarrassed. After all, as a nutritionist, she thought she should have known how to avoid this. Her diabetes made her feel tired, and she had trouble getting her numbers down, even with medication. Then, she decided to try eating plant-based. Just by changing her diet, she has dropped 6 dress sizes. She loves to talk about how a bus driver laughed at her when she was running to catch the bus, holding onto her skirt that was now way too big so it wouldn't fall down. She has lots of energy and doesn't ache when she gets in and out of the car on her daily long drives for work. All of her numbers are better, and she has been able to cut down use of her medications. I had the privilege of meeting Mrs. Barney last summer when she and I taught a class at the Gallup Indian Medical Center in New Mexico. She told the class, "If I can make this change, all of you can too." Sadly, the story of diabetes and Native Americans seems all too pervasive. But you can help to write the story of how Native Americans defeated diabetes. With the power of our plant foods on our plates, we can make the story of diabetes a thing of the past. These are our take-home points for Lesson 4. Number 1, remember to eat whole plant foods. That includes fruits, veggies, whole grains, and beans. Include some nuts and seeds, and drink water. 2, avoid animal products. 3, minimize oils. And 4, remember to take our vitamin B12 supplement. Over and over, we've seen people who follow a low-fat, plant-based diet drop cholesterol like a rock, lose stubborn weight, and normalize their blood pressure. So I encourage you to give it a try and find out what plant-based nutrition can do for you. Today's challenge of the week is to see how many days this week you can eat a whole grain at every meal. For instance, for breakfast, have a bowl of rolled oats. Lunch could be veggie chili made with corn, served over brown rice, or a peanut butter and banana sandwich on a 100% whole wheat bread. For dinner, how about a quinoa bowl? Remember to drink plenty of water to aid in the digestion of these high-fiber whole grains. Note what changes for you. If you have weight to lose, you'll see it come down. And don't forget, if you are on medicine that can cause low blood sugar or low blood pressure, and you don't feel well, check in with your healthcare provider to adjust your medication. Thank you for joining me. Come back next week for more easy and health-promoting meal ideas.
Okay. All right. Well, that was the end of the recorded session. Any questions over what we just saw? Any goals for you if you're thinking about looking at these grains that you're going to try a different grain this week? Quinoa, I never wanted to mess with it, but it is actually so good. And now if we're gonna have rice, I think maybe I'll add quinoa instead of rice because we have rice so often. And so we've put that in there. If you've ever gotten the cold salad at Costco, it's the quinoa cold salad, and it has corn, beans, and like a little red pepper chopped up in there with some lemon dressing. And you can, exaggerate on that recipe and make it to your liking and use lime juice or lemon juice or tahini. Sometimes I'll put garbanzo beans and black beans and kidney beans. I'll put all the beans in there. Sometimes I'll put just the corn and the red pepper or whatever I have available. But we always have that cold quinoa salad in the refrigerator. You can eat it cold. You can heat it up. It's so good. You can go either way. So that's something that you can have for yourself in the refrigerator. And when you meal prep for you something that's so wonderful and so healthy for you, you may, not stop on the way home to grab a bite to eat because you're like, oh yeah, I got to eat that quinoa. It's already ready. There's studies that suggest when you have already prepared food and already washed vegetables that you will eat it over food that needs to be prepared or food that needs to be washed. So if you have it washed and prepared for yourself, you're setting yourself up for success. And that quinoa is such a good source of fiber. It's an ancient grain that we haven't been eating very much. But if you like it a little bit more texture, get the red quinoa. When I make that salad, it can kind of get a little soggy, but the red quinoa lasts a little longer if your dressing gets thick in there and it wants to absorb moisture and get soggy. The red quinoa lasts longer. It doesn't get real soggy. So if you're into texture, that's a little tip on there for the quinoa. Okay. One tip you could do if you eat instant oatmeal, go to the whole oatmeal or go to the steel cut oatmeal. It's going to be extra scrubbers in there. When you think about fiber and it's soluble and insoluble, insoluble means that it takes less time to break down in water. And you think of like oatmeal and things that if you put in water, it'll break up and become cloudy. And then when you think about non-soluble fiber, that's the ones that are really going to scrub you. Like insoluble fiber, like the oatmeal brings your blood pressure down and brings your cholesterol down. But the scrubbing fibers, the non-soluble fibers that are harder grains like rice and that quinoa, those buckwheat and barley, those types of grains are going to really clean out toxins and excess hormones. And if you don't clean out toxins and excess hormones, then you just reabsorb them and you could have a hormone imbalance or you could be reabsorbing toxins. So those are the two different types of fiber you can think about of like, what are your goals? Are you trying to lower your cholesterol and lower your blood pressure? Then you can go with the scrubbers like oatmeal. But if you're really trying to remove toxins or trying to balance your hormones, you can do the harder grains. And tried things like that. If you have tacos, you can have corn tortillas. That's a whole grain. So, you know, get the corn in there that way. All right, and let me look at the chat. There is a question about soy because you're going to find out if you look online and you read about soy and tofu, there's some mixed reviews out there. And those are doctors' takes on some studies that suggest that the estrogen is going to enhance your breast cancer chances. But over time, the majority of the tests that have come from Japan in the China study says that soy intake actually reduces your chances of breast cancer. So I'm going to bring up some studies and I want to get those out to you guys. So I was in the middle of typing on that one, but I don't want you to think I forgot about you guys, that I had a chat for that one. But I'll send you the information on soy. In the chat, you'll see I sent that DNA Power Plate they were talking about. Really cool program that they thought of, and they made that whole booklet for you to review. And then there's a story in there. It's called Diabetes for Success, and it just has an overview and a little bit more, you know, some fuel to your direction is going, because these are the results other people have had. This is what their life is like now. And so that's the other one I put in the chat. And then look for, if you need the handouts, look for them on the GTB Indians website. They are up now. I had a little snafu there, but over the holidays and with my video, it wouldn't get up there, but they're up there now. So if you're trying to, you know, watch it again, they're on the GTB Indians website, or you can wait and get the email that I send. Sometimes I send you the email that has a YouTube link, and I'm just sending that from my own YouTube account, so I'll get it to you. But the GTB Indians website should be there weekly, so you can reference the handouts and the videos. And let's see. Okay, the meals on the video. Like that, I can send those recipes to you. I'll do that after I end the video tonight, and I'll get those. They are in the handouts. Let me look through this handout. Should be towards the middle. They'll have the Kinlati Border Town. Okay, yeah. So page 7 of the handout, you'll see that cheesy, spicy popcorn. And then, yeah, so the recipes are in there starting at page 8 from the game show. But I can resend those as a separate copy for printing. It makes it easier to print. Okay, all right. So the goal this week is to eat more grains. We just want to remind you, I know they said it in the video, but when you eat more grains, that is more fiber. So also up your water intake. I don't want anybody having trouble with eating all these grains, because you could get a little dry and may have trouble passing all that bulk. So drink the water, keep that going. Email me during the week if you have any suggestions or any troubles, any you know, hurdles you're trying to get over. Okay, so there is a chat question about the plant-based milks. They can range from $3 to $6 for that little half gallon or quart it is. But if you are interested, there is a milk machine. And just to give you an example of what it takes is 2 tablespoons of soybeans to make that one big quart of milk. So, you know, it doesn't take very much to make that milk. It's mostly water. So, you know, it's a lot of marketing and mostly water, but you can make oat milk at home. You can do it in the blender. You can make cashew milk, any of the milks you can do if you have a high-speed blender, or if you can get a milk machine. If it's lumpy, you can strain it through a cheesecloth. But yeah, so if you find yourself, because this happens, if you go to the food pantry and they have a big old, take all these almonds, so you can make your own almond milk. So just save those almonds, put them in the freezer. You can blend them up, put them with water. The very first, you know, plant-based milk was by the Indians. They took a hickory nut and smushed it and ground it, and they put it with a small ground cornmeal paste, and they mixed that with water, and that was our first like baby formula from ground hickory nuts and cornmeal paste. And it was smooth and creamy, and baby thrived on that. So we've been making creamy concoctions from nuts for a long time. And so this will make you have creamy soups and creamy oatmeals, and you can make your own. And you only have to use a little bit if you want to put it in a food processor, and then, you know, have it available as a paste. You add water to it and reconstitute it. That's like you would like tahini. But lots of things you can do if you would want to make your own milks at home. Okay. All right, guys. I think that's it for tonight. We got, oh, there was the email I sent you guys about that Veg Michigan meetup. So fill out the survey, and then you'll get the confirmation that, yeah, come pick up your bag of meat alternatives and, you know, plant-based items to get you through the Christmas holiday. So I'm hoping by the time we graduate and you pick up your bags, it'll be on the 19th at Oriana from 4 to 5. We got the community room there. You'll pick up your Veg Michigan bag, and I'll have the Native Food for Life goodie bag that you're going to get and our graduation certificates. So we'll get into that when it gets closer to graduation. You let me know how you want your name on there, and then make sure you secure your Veg Michigan bag. If you don't do that, you'll still get your Native Food for Life bag and measuring cup set. And I'm putting some goodies in there all this week as I get stuff from our program. So it'll be information and things in a book. Oh, okay. Oh, good. It said to pick 3 items. Okay, you only can pick 3 items. I guess you pick 3 items that you would want, and they maybe put another filler in there because they showed me a picture like we were going to get some cool stuff. So hopefully we'll get some neat items to try. If you know anybody else that wants to try the bags, you can send them that link and they can fill it out, and we'll have the bag there ready to fill it out for them. They do not have to just be in this class. They can just want to try the plant-based items for the next 30 days, and then they want you to fill out a survey once you're done with this. But, you know, that was all they asked of us to do. Okay, guys. I guess until next week, eat more grains, email me with any questions, and I'll be sending out some recipes and some more information on soy. Okay. All right, you guys. Well, until next week, we'll see you then. Mama P. Mama P.